to... Oh! Hello, Traveler in Paimon. Pardon?
No, just strange for him to not...
I see. He was called away by Альбедо a little while. If you need any help, just call my name.
Thanks. No worries, we're all clued up on the base...
I guess it's no surprise coming from the one who repelled Storm Terror. Actually, since it's you...
There's that name again.
Apologies. I never introduced him.
But Paimon's only ever seen Timaeus teaching out.
Yes. He's dedicated himself to investigating the truth of this world. And we often get alchemists coming to Mondstadt from all over Teyvat, seeking his help. They say that the subtlest of guidance from Mr. Альбедо helps him to solve the most unfathomable of problems.
Wow! Paimon didn't know he was such a big deal.
Still, it seems that he's encountered a problem in his research. I'm sure that Альбедо would love to hear about your incredible exploits. Альбедо is a true gentleman. He'll be sure to pay. I don't see why not. Testing the limits of living beings' capabilities is one of Альбедо's areas of research, after all. Альбедо and Timaeus will be conducting research in the mountains right now. I'd love to take you both to see him, but somebody has to attend to the store. I'm afraid you'll have to go to the entrance to the pass and look for him by yourselves. Look out for a refined gentleman with the presence of a true scholar. And... sorry.
But hey, stop worrying. We got... Sucrose is a whole lot less nervous once she gets talking about alchemy and research, huh? Is that what all researchers are like? Anyway, let's go and look.
Sister Rosaria! So here you are!
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing.
But this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
I mean, sure, but...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it the least bit odd?
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan to make a fool out of you.
Huh? Well,
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too trusting of other people. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
I thought I heard something.
We better watch out.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where. And you think I'm the trickster?
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you. The honorary knight that saved us from Storm Terror. Well then, otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest people now?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm.
So, are you also—
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the track. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
Another test subject.
With the wind! I'll keep this close.
Fry!
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Cool it!
Nice and spicy. Eat this!
Dodge this! An unfortunate fall. Cool it!
As the fry pan, it's
Freeze! Wind blade! Cool it!
I'll protect us. Nice and spicy.
Dodge this! Don't get frostbite! Wind blade! Freeze!
Boba, get them!
This first!
there's nothing better to do, we could go foraging for ingredients. Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like—
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere you—
But can't he see those hilly churros? Isn't he in— Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk! Let's take them out of the picture first!
Dodge this! What's the hurry?
Who are you? Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been—
What's up with painting hilly churros? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Wow! Look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been done in a hurry.
You can find these hilly churls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indicator—
Hold your horses. Ugh, something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for— Ugh, what a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. But back to the point. From her—
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a— I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility. Excellent. If I could procure your assistance— forgive me. This must be confusing.
Whoa. You want to start with
You're right. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed that's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to—
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out,
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside, but you're not from the known world. By observing and researching—
shall we just get out of here?
It's possible. But I will do it. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Альбедо and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to monsters?
Has a question. After the seeds
I don't know, but I feel the importance will lie in them using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my after awakening. Even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand?
No! Paimon's got a brain! But
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few questions in that regard. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of fascinating. And this floating child.
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Oh, that rules out that possibility. But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rocket. No, that definitely can't be it.
Hey! How would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in our research, it seems that only experimentation will yield. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them.
Huh?
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanid.
Slimes! Slimes are fine!
Well, prepare yourself.
Boba, get them!
Cool it! Windblade!
Out of the frying pan, it's
Freeze!
Great work. If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to... Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally,
internal flow.
it's very simple. I can use... If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this...
Sounds kinda...
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you...
And in the abnormal...
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary prepper. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved, just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to... It's a type of ore known as star silver. I'll take you to my campsite. All going to plan.
Paimon's still gotta... Let's keep our eye...
Here, should do for catalyst purposes. This one, usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added... While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have...
Hello!
Whoa!
I think the most rational direction would be to consider following this.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life form. A cryo-reg is fine, or even a whopper flower might be a... In that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. This traveler is a visitor from another world. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world... Now that really would be something, wouldn't it?
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more.
Great. I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. If all goes well, I'll hand it over to you. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive... This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, but if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, in conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from any...
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency... The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same, they can understand, empathize, and... When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience because you... But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyro... To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form, now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. I meant to say was...
Before we can proceed with our research, I need to... If you're interested, why not have a look around?
Here comes Альбедо! Let's go see him!
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be hard-pressed if... Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess an... I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, no. You shan't be required to... Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best effort?
What's with the disappointment?
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation. I suppose I have a curiosity for things that others... Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat? I've just finished preparing the recipe.
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward to more mad science.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with and highly nutritious.
Paimon bets you're just hungry. It does sound yummy, though. Oh, Good buddies are always...
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward... If there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus...
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does it get these ideas from, let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Nice and spicy.
Wind blade!
This could hurt. The frying pan?
Yeah. Is this an answer from this world? Wind blade!
Glava, get them! What a bountiful harvest!
That was fat. An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the as far as the proliferation hypothesis, unless... Could it be...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated.
Not to worry. At least we put some food... And here's your portion. Enjoy.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong.
Hey! You were being nice a second, but you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends.
Yes. I'm fortunate too. There are all manner of alchemical items here. I managed to retrieve the majority, but...
Paimon's barely finished eating, and you want us to...
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. If you had, say, superpower, I must have dropped them somewhere in...
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh, yeah! This must be electrohypostasis powder. The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo element.
Goodness. You managed... I'm wondering... This elemental...
Yep. Guess it does sort of...
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit.
You mean we failed again?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research, in essence, the differences between humans are looking out from where we're standing. Can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there. So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it... Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test.
Still in one piece. Good thing the vial's so strong. Nice and spicy. You want us to jump?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method that... Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my compare...
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. Then if you would
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. Your reputation precedes you, traveler.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat.
Me? Actually, if it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, if the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then the innumerable possibilities that this could present.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. Gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of a Sunsetia.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilly turtles? Because you got to see something new?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be like bored?
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me. Now, before we head back to the campsite, there's one more. Follow me. There are some other ruins nearby. I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during... I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test. I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your... There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, you should be able to activate... As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is a tried and tested adventurer, I see. So, let's see you in action. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Help! We
keep this close. A reward on the road.
Race you! Nice and spicy!
Cool it!
I'm the fried pan!
With the wind!
It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look. What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. There's still a lot to learn about them. And let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater...
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable. Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparative. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to unless you can think of anything.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
You didn't leave the mountain?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potion? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive.
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into...
No way! Paimon would have sensed it! And then he...
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential...
So, what are you gonna do?
I've gotta hand it to you. You have your I've investigated everything else. The only...
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. Now then, all things considered, which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Альбедо, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh.
You're back. Good timing. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult, but the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is...
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here with the only other life form that, like you, but after I observed you, I had another idea. Imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem. And that is not nurturing otherworldly life, also nurturing the world itself. It would seem that that's as far as we go.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. A short life can be well lived. A life... So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here, arguably being...
Things feel a little... Don't be sad. You've got Paimon. Альбедо, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness, your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a value... In the future, if the need arises, well... I made a point throughout of Teyvat. What was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? Those born of earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, but if, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, destroy everything, I rely on you to stop me.
the show begins. Yeah, nice and spicy. Eat this!
Dodge this! This moment will be frozen in time. Wind blade!
At the frying pan.
Cool it! Freeze!
Boba, get them!
Dodge this! Cool it! Freeze! Cool it! Wind blade!
I'll protect us.
Don't get frostbite! Disappear! Freeze! Cool it! This moment will be frozen in time.
At the frying pan.
Dodge this! Wind blade! Freeze!
Let's dance.